If you remember back to the part on Plato, you'll remember he talked about removing children from the manners and habits of their parents, and indeed abolishing the family unit as a means of wiping out the old and bringing in the new way of things. The United Nations likes that idea, and it has instigated a war on parents through its education system. Hugh Thant said, "The world will not change and find peace if there is not a new education." Dr. Brock Chisholm, former director of the United Nations World Health Organization, identified family loyalty, amongst other things, as a hindrance to this when he said, "To achieve world government, it is necessary to remove from the minds of men their individualism, loyalty to family traditions, national patriotism and religious dogmas." Brock Chisholm also echoed Plato when he said, "What basic psychological distortion can be found in every civilization of which we know anything? The only psychological force capable of producing these perversions is morality, the concept of right and wrong. The reinterpretation and eventual eradication of the concept of right and wrong are the belated objectives of nearly all psychotherapy. If the race is to be freed from its crippling burden of good and evil, it must be psychiatrists who take the original responsibility." So the UN thinks that children having a concept of right and wrong is a bad thing. At first, children must have their views of right and wrong skewed, and then eventually taught that there is no such thing as right and wrong at all. The NGO that looks after education in the United Nations is UNESCO. UNESCO's constitution was written by an Illuminati Mason called Archibald MacLeish. He was a member of the Skull and Bone Society. The first director of UNESCO was Julian Huxley, the brother of Aldous Huxley. He was the 1962 Humanist of the Year and a member of the Communistic Colonial Bureau of the British Fabian Society. He was also a signatory on the Humanist Manifesto too. Under Huxley's guidance, the United Nations produced a document called the Handbook for Teachers, and it reminded teachers of their role in preparing children for a world organization. Huxley said in 1948, "Its education program can stress the ultimate need for world political unity and familiarize all the peoples with the implications of the transfer of full sovereignty from separate nations to a world organization. Political unification and some sort of world government will be required." UNESCO explained, "If UNESCO is attacked on the grounds that it is helping to prepare the world's people for world government, then it is an error to burst forth with apologetic statements and denials. Let us face it, the job of UNESCO is to help create and promote world citizenship. When faced with such a charge, let us by all means affirm it from the housetops." They're not even pretending to hide it. So in whatever country you live, you may notice the media and education systems encouraging you to feel ashamed of your nationality, your history, or your politicians. This is designed to remove your allegiance from your nation so that you are more ready to accept global citizenship. But what about this war on parents they're waging? On the opening page of the UNESCO handbook it says, "Before the child has entered school, his mind has already been profoundly marked and often injuriously by earlier influences, i.e. parents, first gained however dimly in the home." UNESCO thinks that if you have been teaching your child the truth about God in the home, then you have injured their mind and that this needs to be undone in the school. Page 58 of the UNESCO handbook says, "As we have pointed out, it is frequently the family that infects the child with extreme nationalism. The school should therefore use the means described earlier to combat family attitudes. The whole aim is to undermine Judeo-Christian values and to eradicate it as an infection from the minds of children." Peter Hoagland perhaps sums up their attitude when he says, "Fundamental Bible-believing people do not have the right to indoctrinate their children in their religious beliefs because we, the state, are preparing them for the year 2000 when America will be part of a one-world global society and their children will not fit in." They are, in fact, encouraging children to rebel against their parents' instruction, and by doing so they are of course breaking the 5th commandment to honor your father and mother.
Hey, your mother pay for that? She should know. If I work in the store, then you'll be in trouble.
Yeah,
Miss, your kid's sitting over here eating all the grapes. Look at him. He's sitting over here eating all the grapes. He's sitting over the grapes, and nobody, you're not saying nothing to him. Kids just running all over the place.
Hello, don't start that in here. You don't come in here eating stuff. Why are you eating the stuff? Why are you talking like that? Watch him out. Don't give me back chat. Don't give me back chat. Don't do that. Listen, don't give me back chat. This bitch is bugging out. You don't give me back chat. Listen, don't tell me. You want to out.
Leave that. I'm talking about. Jit is mad. Jit don't got no family.
Today, because of the economic squeeze on average working families, along with the Lilith-inspired feminist movement, many mothers have either been taught to think of motherhood as something inferior to careerism, or have financially been left with no choice but to go to work and leave their child in the hands of others. This separation between kids and parents is good for the United Nations. Full destruction of family units, as prescribed by Plato, also helps their cause because it forces single mothers to work and leaves the family without a strong male figure, which research proves is very important to the health, happiness and success of children as they grow up. More to the point, the home is then robbed of strong male spiritual leaders. Satan has been waging a sustained attack on men and male identity for a long time, in the knowledge that if he can render them weak, disillusioned and stunted spiritually, the rest of his work becomes a lot easier. I feel very strongly that Christian men need to waken up to the battle that's being waged on them and their masculinity. Christian families need to waken up as a whole to the fact that Satan wants to destroy that cohesive unit. This attack on male identity in particular is a whole other subject that needs to be addressed.
At age 46, after 23 years of marriage and 7 kids, Stephanie realized she wasn't a crossdresser. She was transgender, a person whose gender is different than the sex they were assigned at birth.
I'm genderqueer, I'm queer.
That's right, Stephanie has moved on, believing that she will never be accepted by her wife and children. These days, she's got a job plowing snow and has a new family made up of friends and a new relationship.
There's days I forget my past. I can actually go a week without even thinking about what was before. So it's a fresh start. It's interesting because it's new to me, and I'm getting accepted in a way I've never been. There's unconditional love. I'm starting to feel like we have a quasi-family that we're creating, and I'm allowed to be exactly who I am, and I don't have to apologize or make excuses why I'm different.
I can't deny I was married. I can't deny I have children, but I've moved forward now, and I've gone back to being a child. I don't want to be an adult right now, and I just live my life like I couldn't when I was in school.
How are things in your life now?
Well, I have a mommy and daddy, a adopted mommy and daddy, who are totally comfortable with me being a little girl, and their children and their grandchildren are totally supportive. In fact, her youngest granddaughter, when I was 8, a year ago I was 8, and she was 7, and she said to me, I want you to be the little sister, so I'll be 9. I said, well, I don't mind going to 6, so I've been 6 ever since. But we have a great time, and we color, we do kid stuff. It's called play therapy. No medication, no suicide thoughts, and I just get to play.
Future is
exciting, scary, hopeful,
adventurous.
Wow.
It's electric. Bring it on.
ABC Family is becoming Freeform. A new name, a new place to experience the shows that grab you. Freeform. Free to take whatever shape feels right. Free to push beyond the expected. Free to get from point A to point B in a line that's nowhere near straight. Because you don't just watch. You get involved, make it yours.
We're happy. Oh, yeah.
And share it with everyone. This is where we break free. Become with us. ABC Family is becoming Freeform.